Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's the other guy back here with another one, man. To clarify, guys, when I put quotations in videos, I am quoting somebody. Those aren't my words. I will see a quote and basically I'll give my take on it, whether I would agree with it or disagree with it. But I give my opinion on it, and I guess it causes a lot of confusion. Somebody came on in the comment section and called me a hater, and didn't even realize that we wasn't agreeing with one another. Guys, I don't argue with donkeys. You know what I'm saying? If you really have like a critical you know what I'm saying, or critical analysis, whatever you critiquing my video for real, and you have something to say, I would, you know what I'm saying, engage with you, by the way, you know. But if you can't even understand what a quotation mean, bro, I'm gonna let you have it. I don't got that time. So either way, man, just to clarify, like, you see quotes, those aren't my words. I'm just addressing something that somebody else has said. But I see a lot of guys that has a lot of I guess problems, more so with having that edge, having that I guess that oomph right to your looks, and why women don't really stay for long, or they perceive you to be a bad boy but you're really not, right? And I want to talk about that, right? This whole thing about being a bad boy too, it's not necessarily that you're bad, it's more so that you have put your self-interest more before anybody else's, right? That's what a woman more so wants to see, right? But I want to talk about that because that was my biggest issue. I was the guy, right, that you'd meet in person, right, and you'd have a great time with, you feel me? I'm talking about a woman, right? And when I got home, I was asking bullshit like what your favorite color was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had no game whatsoever. I was the guy that had the looks to say I like somebody, right? But never followed up with it because I was afraid of what she might perceive me as. So it just was a dud. You get what I'm saying? You would say, a coward. I didn't want to pursue further because I was afraid that she was going to reject me at the end of the day. Guys, I had all those issues. You know what I'm saying? I looked the part, but never was the part. You feel me? And it was ultimately a letdown to women. I was even in situations where I actually did get the cheeks. I actually did clap, right? But I was the one that fell fast, fell hard, like I ain't never had a woman before in my life. You feel me? And I want to talk about that today, and why that changed and how that changed for me. Guys, at the end of the day, I detached all the negative things in my life, right? The things maybe that I owe, you know what I'm saying, that I need to pay off. The things that maybe I was in possession of. What I had, like my car, my place, all that, or when I didn't have. You feel me? I detached all that from my life because that has nothing to do with your identity. That has nothing to do with your identity. You might be in a crisis right now, but it has nothing to do with who you are as a person, right? And all that was detached. Guys, I was at home, 25, 26 years old. I had no car, right? Obviously, I had no place. And let alone, guys, I didn't even have a license to drive. And I still had girlfriends. Yes, still had girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? Because that didn't have anything to do, and I didn't attach. Now, keep in mind, those relationships didn't last for long for obvious reasons. You know what I'm saying? For obvious reasons, those relationships didn't last for long, But I was still able, what I'm saying, to get, what I wanted at the end of the day. And guys, basically, I just believed, man, the sun shined out my ass, bro, for some reason. I believe, and I held my head up high. No matter what situation that I was in, I felt like the man. You feel me? I always told my bros before we went out, when we was back in college, man, I used to tell my bro Peter all the time, man, if I'm there for 15 minutes, I own the place. You feel me? Think about that affirmation. Just think about that for a second. If I'm here for longer than 15 minutes, I own the place. I became the environment that, you feel me, that new environment that I had to adjust to. You see what I'm saying? I became that new environment that I had to adjust to, essentially. I was like, man, I am the man no matter where I go, no matter what environment that I'm in. Basically, I had eye confidence and I spoke like it. You feel me? And that leads to the next topic. When you speak like, you know, when you speak like, you feel me, you that man. You see me? That's where women come in now. They like, why does this man hold his head up so high? What can shake this man? Let me try to push a button. And when they find out and they realize nothing could push, there's no button she could push to get you off that center, to not think that you are the man. How do you think like that? Your way or the highway? Live with those words for a second. Your way or the highway. Have it your way or the highway. You feel me? That means you're going to do it my way. You're going to get the fuck on. You see what I'm saying? Guys, another thing too. Projection of your voice. You feel me? You could be loud without necessarily being yelling. But you could get your point across and get your point across firmly. When you believe that it's your way or the highway, right? You could get your point across and nobody gonna question it. They gonna be like, damn, why this guy so fucking aggressive? Why he so fucking aggressive? Think about that shit, right? I'm not saying like, yeah, like you about to scream at a bitch. I'm not saying hell nah. You feel me? That'll be you getting off center. But I'm basically saying like, when there's time to give instructions, when there's time to follow rules, you sound like a guy that got his both feet placed on the ground. You feel me? And at the same time, when you let them know, maybe you know what I'm saying, you receive, you know what I'm saying, some kind of backlash or whatever the case is. Say, man, I ain't gonna argue with you. Bro, I ain't gonna argue with you. You know what I'm saying? I said what I said. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to listen, that's cool. But that's what was said. You're a guy that can't be moved off your center, right? Mainly. You know what I'm saying? And when you think, like I said, you think highly of yourself. You believe whatever you have to say is important. And also, you believe that whatever comes out your mouth next is actually appropriate. Think about that shit, bro. Think about that shit. You believe whatever you have to say out your mouth next is important. It's smooth. You feel me? Important. So women want to come up and see why you speak the way that you speak. Why you speak so confidently and firmly. Why you speak like you somebody daddy at the end of the day. And those are traits that they're looking for. Knowing that maybe they have something that they have in mind, but you're already fixated on your path. You feel me? And they cannot knock you off center of that. Now to them, you know you are a confident man. How does the edge come now? Edge also comes with looks. Edge also comes going outside the norm and doing what others aren't doing. You see what I'm saying? Edge comes with a personal display of how you feel about yourself, I guess, manifested into a physical form. That would be more so like getting earrings. Maybe that's your interest, maybe that's not. Maybe getting a tattoo or 2 or 5 or 10 or 20 or whatever, right? You just tatted it as hell. But that is personal expression manifested in physical form, placed on your body for display to see and not to give a fuck about what other people think about you. You get what I'm saying? So you think highly of yourself, right? You think highly of yourself. Your words are firm. And not only that, you don't give a fuck about what people got to say about you. Imagine the beast that you are now walking. You get what I'm saying? When you see that, when you live by those rules, right? Women tend to follow those rules because those are things that they see. Those are things that I either seen from their dad, that was missing from their dad, or just never had the experience whatsoever and can't even fucking confront the shit. You get what I'm saying? You move like your man. You move like the man, basically. You move like when you walk and it's raining outside, raindrops don't even fucking touch you. You feel me? That's how you're gonna move when you think and have that mindset. You get what I'm saying? So when a woman comes in your life now and you realize, hey, whatever I have to say is important. You get what I'm saying? You're less afraid or not afraid at all to ask her, you know, or tell her where we're going next. You feel me? This is where I'm going next. Do you want to follow? That's how it becomes. You feel me? You're not scared to ask her if she wants to come or not. This is where we're going next. Do you want to follow? You feel me? And that's pretty much how essentially I gained what you call edge. You feel me? Stop being that corny guy, whatever the case is, what you call a good guy. Like I said, it's not necessarily that you're a bad guy. You just put your self-interest first, right? Women see that and they become aligned to that and become attached to that, and they want to continue to follow that. Now you cannot fall off of that. And that's the problem what many guys might have, is because they let up at the end of the day. When the attachment is built, you start falling in love and you start talking a little nicer or whatever the case is. Now, I'm not saying it just sound like a complete, like I said, not yelling or whatever the case is, but just, you know what I'm saying, maintain that same attitude at all times. Even I have to pep talk myself sometimes. You see what I'm saying? But detach the things that's negative from you, bro. That's not a part of your life. That's not who you are. It's not your identity. You see what I'm saying? Detach those things, bro. You know, and realize, man, like, yo, bro, like, I look good. Women, they want me. Men, they want to be me. You know, have that mindset. It sounds wrong, but that's how you have to think about yourself. You have to be delusional about yourself. You feel me? And yeah, women gonna eventually start following that. You're gonna end up maintaining that because, yeah, bro, you move like you him. Be easy, man.